Hello everyone! Today on Vinky's Gaming Thoughts, we will start the Canticle of Shartan. Today's Valasleen is an improvised one. So it's inspired by other Valasleens, but it's not anything in particular. I just went with the flow, literally with the flow. So the Canticle of Shartan is another of the dissonant verses, removed from the chant by divine Renata after the exalted march on the Dales. And this was in the Glory Age. So divine Renata also ordered the destruction of chantry art. So this is how, and more particularly when, a lot of things were lost or changed / forgotten. She wanted to remove the chantry art that included elves. So this would explain why some paintings have elves with rounded ears. This canticle was found, someone literally found it, around -140 ancient, and no one really knows who wrote it. In Dragon Age Inquisition, if Leliana becomes divine, she recanonizes this canticle and puts it back in the Chant of Light. Shartan is rumored to have been Andraste's lover. He is also speculated to be soulless by some. The people who speculate that he's soulless are people like you and me. But in Thedas, he is suspected to be Andraste's lover. And in Thedas, people also suspect that he was more than one person. Maybe he represents a group of elves that followed him, but people believe that Shartan was representative of the entire group and not simply an individual. But in the canticle, he's described as an individual. We know that he was born into slavery and wanted to free his people. So let's see if there are any clues in these theories that can be found about some of the speculation that's been going around regarding Shartan. Speculation going around in Thedas and in our world as well. So Shartan 9. The rebel slaves flee. For 20 days and 20 nights, the people ran, the Elven people, with the footsteps of the Legion ever at their backs. Of course, when I hear the word Legion, the first thing that comes to mind is the Legion of the Dead, but it has nothing to do with the dwarves. The Legion here are the Tevinters. No rest could they find since their flight from Voldorma, which we saw on the map is in Tevinter. The people cried out in despair, "Alas, that we have left Voldorma. Better we had died there than to be hunted like sport on the plains." Among the people, some began to whisper of returning to the city and throwing themselves at the feet of their former masters, and Shartan heard them. All right, so this obviously confirms that they're the Elven slaves. They're the slaves from Tevinter, indeed slaves, and their former masters, all Tevinter, are chasing after them. Shartan rallies the elves. As the people paused to break bread at the foot of the hill the Tevinters called the Lonely One, I'm a bit at a loss here. I searched, but I couldn't find the location of the Lonely One or the actual name, like the other name, the formal name of this hill. So maybe I just didn't look in the right places, but if any of you know its actual name and its location, just let me know in the comments below. Shartan stood on the hilltop and spoke, saying, "Some among you wish to flee back to your masters, to throw yourselves at their feet and ask forgiveness. You have left that path. It is already gone. Your feet can never again tread the dust of Voldorma." In Trespasser, we learn how Solus led rebel slaves to freedom from slavery, from their Evenurus masters. Here we see Shartan do the same with Elven slaves against Tevinter masters. A lot of people think Shartan is soulless, but what if Shartan knew about Fen'Harel's story and was inspired by it? He could have known the real story of Fen'Harel and decided to follow in his footsteps. This would mean that Shartan is a descendant from one of the original elves from Arlathan. And the story, the true story of Fen'Harel, could have survived for a time, over time. And Shartan could have known about it. So like I said, this would mean that, so the story would have survived. He would be a descendant, and a descendant from someone not only who had lived in Arlathan and maybe known the Evenurus, but who had escaped with Fen'Harel, possibly to those ruins, the places where there are ruins now that we see in Trespasser. Maybe Shartan's ancestral roots start there. Now, it's not known if Solus ever took on a lover before meeting the Inquisitor, but what if he had? Could Shartan be Fen'Harel's descendant? Who knows? Maybe I'm searching too far, but who knows? Shartan continues. He who asks for the mercy of the masters will stand accountable for murder and theft and be made example for the slaves of other cities, that they might not have the courage to rise up. That's true. They will taunt you and humiliate you while they hang you in the marketplace. They will pelt you with offal while they call you broken, a coward, and a failure. Now, I looked it up because I didn't quite know what offal was, actually, and it's decomposing animal flesh or the innards of animals used as food. Yeah. No, thank you. Check, please. A dog might slink back to the hand it has bitten and be forgiven, but a slave never. If you would live and live without fear, you must fight. He gives a compelling speech, I gotta give him that. And the people heard the truth in Shartan's voice, and some cursed themselves and their fate and despaired. Aw. And others began to fashion spears and bows from the branches of trees and girded themselves with bark and scraps torn from their sandals and dug pits in the earth with their hands. Well, they're certainly motivated. They got no choice. They've got to figure this out. You know, it's do or die. The elves ambush the legion. Darkness fell upon the lonely one. A night without moon or stars. Ooh, lunar eclipse? Or just very cloudy, like in a Mordor kind of cloudy. As the legion, the Tevinters, followed like bloodhounds the trail of the rebels. And when the hunters reached the foot of the solitary hill, they found nothing. The trail of their quarry vanished, as if the people had taken wing. It's the eagles. They took flight with the eagles. The officers began to curse their men and blame one another for losing the trail, finger pointing. And the soldiers fell to bickering among themselves, of course. In silence, all around them, the people crept out from holes clawed in the earth, and with harvesting blades and arrows chipped from stones, fell upon the unwary legion and slaughtered them to a man. That's actually a good tactic, if you think about it. Wait until they're distracted and preoccupied, and then attack. You know, like, the elves celebrate their victory. And the people raised the blades of the fallen soldiers to the heavens and rejoiced. Now they have real swords. They just gained a bunch of weapons. And Shartan said to them, "No longer are we hunted. Yay! We shall never again be prey, waiting to be struck down. Let us take up the blades of our enemies." Well, exactly. "And carve a place for ourselves in this world." Ooh, I like that analogy. Carve over the blades. You know. The people heard him and girded themselves in the armor of the dead, and sharpened their blades and arrows and prepared for war. So now they have weapons and they have armor. And this is where I'll stop for today. We're going to continue the Canticle of Shartan in the next video. Like this video if you like it, share it with a bunch of people, you know, the usual stuff. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you soon. Masaranas. Be sure to check out some of my other stuff, and remember to buy video games at a discounted price and support me at no additional cost to you. Just follow my G2A affiliate link. To learn more how that can help you as well, you can watch my full explanation video on that. Thanks for tuning in.